Welcome to economics. In the first lesson, you got an opportunity to look at some definitions and get an idea about what economics is all about. And when you signed up for this course or enrolled in this course, you might have thought that economics is going to be about money and stocks. Economics is actually a pretty broad field that studies how people make choices and satisfy their needs and their wants. So your textbook defines it as economics can be defined as the study of producing and distributing goods and services in an effort to satisfy the unlimited wants and needs of consumers with a limited of resources available. This is a good definition. It's talking about how the things that people want, which is what drives an economy, right? You go to the store and you want some milk, so you buy some milk. You want a house, you buy a house. All the things that we do in our daily living is an effort to satisfy our unlimited wants. But we have limited resources. So that's a great, fine, good definition. But there's more to it than that. This definition says that economics is the social science that seeks to describe the factors which determine the production, distribution, and consumptions of goods and services. So that's also a part of economics. It looks at what we decide to produce, or what a country decides to produce with our limited resources. And on a side note, before we move on, I want to just let you know that economics is a lot about taking big, broad concepts and simplifying them down. And we're going to look at a lot of charts and graphs. It's a very visual course, so that's exciting. But you might think that it sometimes looks like a math class, and you might need some extra help, so you leave the South Carolina Whitmore School and you look at outside sources. Perfectly fine, and you can definitely do that. However, you need to cite your source. So I want to point out the quotes. I did not put this in my own words. I got this from Wikipedia. I liked their definition, so I copied and pasted it. I used quotes to let you know, and then I cited my source, okay? If you paraphrase, okay, so all that means is that you went to an outside source and you put it in your own words, which is what we want you to do the majority of the time. You still have to cite your source. You just don't use quotes, okay? So please make sure that you do that if you need extra help as we move further into some of the more difficult concepts. So the first concept that we have to look at is scarcity. Scarcity is talking about that limited resources. So in economics, resources are land, labor, and capital. Okay, we're simplifying it down into three things. Land, we understand that land is scarce, right? There's not an unlimited amount of land. Labor, we know there's not an unlimited amount of people in the world. And then capital. Capital might be the one that you're a little bit, what is capital? Capital is assets. Think of it as your savings account. Is your savings account unlimited? Mine's not unlimited. So what are the choices that we decide to do with our land? So like look at the United States. The limited amount of land that we have in the U.S., are we using it for farming, or are we using it for manufacturing, or are we using it for housing? How we use that land. What do the people in the United States do? Like the people that live there. Are we teachers? Are we doctors? If everybody in the United States decided to become a doctor, we're going to have a shortage of teachers. There's not an unlimited amount of people. And then, of course, we don't have an unlimited amount of money. And what we choose to do with land, labor, and capital might be different than China or Africa. So it's all about choices. Again, simplifying, because that's what we love to do in economics. We try to answer three questions. What is to be produced? How is it to be produced? And for whom? What? So let's take land and a farmer. He decides that he's going to plant peaches. Okay, so with his limited amount of resources, he chooses to plant peaches. So then he's got to decide the how. Is he going to do big farming and have to purchase lots of equipment? Or is he going to make it small and organic? And then he has to decide who. local farmers? Are you going to sell it to Aiken, Columbia, International? So those are your 3 questions that we try to answer in economics. It's all very personal too, because you are a part of the economy. You as a consumer, you choose to buy things. So what you choose to buy affects the economy. You are also a producer, okay? If you've ever had somebody ask you the question, what do you want to do with your life? Well, they're asking you basically, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to produce? With your limited time and your limited resources, what are you going to produce? Let's say you make the choice to make music. Fantastic. Then you move on to the how, and you start thinking, well, how am I going to make my music? Am I going to make big concerts? Am I going to make small, like coffee shops or a YouTube channel? All sorts of questions you can ask. And then you have to decide, well, who's my music for? People, young people, 20 people, your parents, people in China. So again, the economics is definitely one of those subjects that you can see it around you and you can like, oh yeah, I can see that in action. I can see how that works. We're going to look at choices, and this is, of course, something you're probably very familiar with. We all make choices. For example, I make the choice to run, okay? In doing that, we're going to face something called trade-offs, and basically it means that you're giving up something, right? So if I choose to run, I can't eat donuts, okay? So I'm giving up donuts. It's a trade-off, and I'm sure you're very familiar with that. You're a student. You have to make choices and trade-offs all the time. You have made the choice to pursue a diploma. So you are making the trade-off of maybe not going to the movies, not watching TV because of your choice. And that choice can be seen in the economy. So for example, let's say you decide to produce pizza. Well, what's the trade-off? The trade-off is you're not making hamburgers, or maybe you're not spending time with your family because you made the choice to produce pizza. So we like to measure things, and we measured the trade-off in something called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the trade-off, what you lose. It's the cost of your choice, because nothing is free, right? So if I've made the opportunity cost of me running, is donuts. The opportunity cost of you sitting here listening to me and this lecture is not watching TV. That's the opportunity cost, is what you give up. So let's put it in some real terms. Let's make a chart, because we love charts in economics. I have to make a choice in a day. I can grade papers and make videos. Those are the 2 things that I can do in my day, in my work day. So let's say that I made the choice to only grade papers. So if all I did in a day was make papers or grade papers, I can get 60 done in a day. Not making any videos. Okay? But if I chose, let's say I chose to make all videos. I'm like, okay, this is an all video kind of day. I can make 24 videos. Not grading any papers. You can't do both, right? You can't do all papers and all videos. It's going to be some sort of trade-off, and there's some sort of cost involved. So let's say I decide to make 5 videos. Okay? So what am I giving up? Well, I could have graded 60, but because I chose, I'm trading off, right? There's a cost involved. I'm making 5 videos. I can only grade 55 papers. So if I make 5 videos, I can only make 55 papers. So what's the cost? The cost is 5 papers. 60 minus 55 is 5. So that's your opportunity cost. It's just simple subtraction across the board. So if I say, okay, I'm going to make 15 videos today, what's the opportunity cost? The opportunity cost is what you've lost. So 60, I could have been making 60, but I chose to make 15 videos. So I could only grade 40 papers. So 60 minus 40 is 20. I lost 20 papers. What if I make 20 videos? 60 minus 30 is 30. I have my opportunity cost is 30. So the question would look like this. The question would look like this. What is the opportunity cost of making 20 videos? The opportunity cost of making 20 videos is what I'm giving up. Well, I'm giving up 30 papers. Okay? So, what does this look like in a graph? Because we love graphs, because this is a very visual course. So let's take an economy. Let's say the United States can only do two things: make robots and pizza. It's the only two things we can produce. We can produce robots and we can produce pizza. So if we spend all day producing robots, we're going to produce 10 robots and no pizza. But we're not going to do that, right? We're going to do some combination of it. So let's say we decide to make one pizza. Well, what are we giving up? We're giving up one robot, right? Because we're going to make 9 robots. So we're giving up one robot. That's the opportunity cost. What if we decided to make, let's just say 2 pizzas? What are we giving up? 10 minus 7 is 3. We're giving up 3 robots. So what if we decided to make 3 pizzas? We can only make 4 robots. So 10 minus 4 is 6. We're giving up 6 robots. So the opportunity cost of 3 pizzas is 6 robots. Okay? So this is what it looks like in a graph. And the reason we're taking this in a graph is because it's going to tell us a bunch of other things as well. Let's take a look at, for example, what is H? H is outside the realm of possibilities. There's no way that we could make, looks like 8 robots and 4 pizzas. We don't have the resources. There's not enough people, or there's not enough capital. Something about that doesn't work, because our possibilities curve, or our opportunity cost curve, tells us what we can do. And if we're not on that line, if we're outside that line, it's not possible. But what if we're inside the curve? What if we're U? U, it means that we're not efficient. It means that we could have made more robots and more pizzas. Okay, so U is not an efficient place to be. You want to be on that curve, because that's where you're making the most robots and the most pizzas. That's where you're efficient. Now, another thing that we can look at with this graph is look at the purple line. What's the opportunity cost of one pizza? 1 robot, right? So we're only giving up 1 robot to make 1 pizza. What's the opportunity cost of the dotted line? 6 robots, right? So we're giving up 6 robots, but how many pizzas are we getting? 3. So what this shows us is that goods are not all relative, and as you increase one thing, as you increase the amount of your second, so you're going to lose more of the other. So our opportunity cost becomes greater the more we produce of the other. So the more pizzas we produce, we lose. Our opportunity cost becomes greater. Let me try that again. As the more pizzas we make, the opportunity cost becomes greater. We lose more robots. Now, why is that? That might seem a little bit strange. Think of an orange tree. If you are standing on the bottom underneath this orange tree, you can reach up. You just get up, pick all the oranges. Once all those oranges are picked, now you're going to have to climb the orange tree. All All right, so you climb in the orange tree, you get the next set, still too low. So you go and you get a ladder, and you might have to make the ladder, and you put the ladder up, and you climb up the ladder, and now you're getting more, you can get the top oranges. You're expending more energy to get those top oranges. So your opportunity cost is greater. So think of it this way. You are making machines, right? So you go out and you want to get the best people to make those machines. That doesn't require a lot, right? You just get there's people out there, they know how to make these machines, they're pretty smart, they come in. You want to make more machines. Well, you have to take away, right? So maybe you go and you take away from people making pizza. Those people making pizza, they're good at making pizza. They're not very good at making machines. So you have to train those people who used to make pizza to make machines. So the idea is that there's a balance, and you want to be at your most efficient, and that's what an opportunity cost line shows you. Where you're the most efficient, how many pizzas you can make without giving up too many robots.